There's no markings on here, but make sure each bag is centered on each other. Just go off the corner points, and it's pretty easy to see. One other tip he basically said that he uses as a reference is red right all the time. Red right, and that's your biggest, lowest bag on the ground. And so if we get together and set up some sort of protocol, we'll try to incorporate that in. So everybody knows red's right, and it's your lowest, biggest pad if you're going to be doubling it. It's just a...
The logic behind it is if you're calling the operator to go up or down, you say up on red, down on blue, and then the operator knows exactly what you're talking about.
He knows which bag is where in sequence. The other thing is when you're in Marines on the water, when you're looking at buoys, it's always red, right, return. That's a lot of guys are used to that. So it's a sequence that's in red, right, return. The red buoy is always on your right-hand side when you return it down. Same thing. Actually, red is left. It's a reverse. So when you're returning, it's on your right.
No, it's for that.
Yes, it's on your right. Because it's return. So again, know your weights. When you're lifting a vehicle, you're using a strut. Your weight that it's given you here is based on the entire square inches of this pad. If you're putting underneath a support or strut, it's only going to be those square inches that you're having contact with. So you got to calculate your square inches by that measurement. Again, these are pretty thick. You don't have to do anything, but if you can put a 2x4 or 8 board under that piece, so that rests on there instead of the metal sharp edges, use that.
What's the height?
I don't know if it even says it on 10 inches. So, 10 cubic feet.
Are they all 10 inches?
8.9 inches. No, every bag is different. So when you're filling, load the bottom up first until you make contact with your thing, and then you can go ahead and just pump it a little bit, and then lift a good 70. I can go 70% with the upper bag, and then you can start interchanging back and forth. Go ahead and charge it up.
Didn't you want us to, like you said, pump up the bottom bag until you make contact, then you pump this one up just a little bit, and then max out the bottom bag, max out the bottom bag, and then finish off with the top bag.
So we max out the bottom.
The other big thing is angles. Make sure that you don't exceed 40-degree angle, especially when you're doubling up. Now the angle may be not so much the area that you're lifting, but the angle of the bag could be in excess of what your lift point is. Just because of the bags are going to start to roll. And if you exceed 40, that bag's going to shoot out on you. And so 30 maximum is what he was ideally saying, should be safe.
Along with the angles, just like on the brake fire, the danger area would be a 30-degree angle out from the bags as well. So you want to set up the controller outside of the danger area.
If you were to lift
the
truck right now, you want to be lifting from like right here. That's going to shoot up this way.
Also, stacking two max, only 2 bags max. Regulator on the high pressure is 120 psi max, and 15 to 20 on the low pressure.
30%, is that what you said, 30%?
Yes, sir.
So 60% window, 30% off center, and just stay clear. So on here, for argument's sake, we'll just go ahead and charge that up, kick it up to 120. If for some reason you have a surface area that only has maximum lift pressure, let's say the metal is rated, and you'll see this on a plane more so because it's thinner aluminum, it may only take 30 pounds per square inch before you start deforming this metal. So in order to make sure you're not going to exceed that, set your regulator at 30. Don't need to crank it up to 120 psi. Set it at 30, your bags are going to fill until they can't fill anymore, until they reach that pressure, and you know that you're within the same threshold without crunching the metal.
Red.
Go ahead.
Red, you're dead.
Well, open those valves. You're not going to control it by that. Open those entirely. And then you're going to control from this, fill, deflate.
And there was a few commands as well, like prepare to lift and lift.
Yeah, you got to make sure you got spotters all over on like every floor.
We're just demonstrating this.
So you push a button.
Yep.
Yep.
Prepare to lift.
Very good. Lifting on red. These do interlock, they've got nice bridges in there, interlock on each other.
Stop.
Yeah, you can max it out.
Really? Won't pop?
Eventually what you'll do is, he said it'll stop filling up. You'll still put air in there, but it'll stop filling up.
This is a pressure relief valve, and it won't let you do it. It'll start pumping.
Plate hard.
See, this is the roll thing that he was telling me. You gotta be careful.
We're rolling.
Yes.
Yeah, his big rule was, lift an inch, grip an inch.
All right, bring it. So, show me how this is demonstrated.
A whole lot quicker.
Hold the valve, hold the valve. Hold the valve. Take it off.
If you've got another lift point, you've got an 8.
Yeah, turn.
And let's say you're only using a single bag, and that's good. You can go ahead and disconnect that, and you can lift up another section. Move your side over, just leave that holster. Go ahead and
It'll lift the truck, but breeze, you can push the air out of it.
It's leaking.
We're just going to demonstrate on that. I think that's a 42,000 pound, 44,000 pound. The vehicle's probably about 5,000 pounds maximum. So we're only going to be lifting 25% of that. And again, lift and crib. Obviously, a tire is just a quick reference, but just allows us to do it without using cribbing.
Couple comments on cribbing. Use the same length of cribbing as your bag, and use the 2 and 2 method with the least half of the width of the cribbing sticking out.
Cool. What he basically said is, not so much use the same cribbing as the bag, but don't cut cribbing smaller than your largest bag.
Yeah.
So we can use a small bag and have the large cribbing, but and yeah, make sure you got a flat surface on the working area. 2x2, again, and I'd have to look back at the reference of how many square inches. When you are doing your cribbing, it's here. When you put your next overlap on, try to overlap that crib 2 inches over the one below it. And that's, if it bites, it's biting into the bottom crib as opposed to finding a way to slide out and kick out. So,
Brush it.
go ahead, you want to All right, let's do 30 degrees clear of that.
Videotape him.
Or 60 degrees clear of that.
Dang, he was meant to be on the camera.
I know.
Look at him.
It's a sexy beast, the two of them together.
He's like a movie star.
You're nice, that body.
Let's see. All right, raising right. Let's go.
Do we have this on video? Uh-oh.
Go with driving license every day.
And again, make sure your wheels are taut. In this case, you're going to be cribbing up to what you're doing. Make sure that if you're going to continue to lift, set up a crib base and continue to lift, that you got bracing either by come-alongs or whatever to ensure that this thing isn't going to flip over the opposite direction.
That's 30.
There you go.
That's sweet.
Good.
Good.
All right.
Zoom in on Captain.
Coming down.
He's the best. Captain Ray.
Wow.
Yeah, there you go.
Smile for the camera, Captain Hooray.
That is a smile.
He is smile.
Inside.
It's the happiest I've seen him in weeks.
could disconnect it if you want to, and it'll get a little bit faster bleed out. Not much air.
That was worth it.
The risk to you is diminished as far as lifting risk. But the height you're going to raise something that's much greater. So you have a lot more risk on the emergency side. 2 feet.
Let's break some shit.
Each one's 2 foot and you cannot double stack. These are not stacked. So you're going to lift, crib, lift up again, put some cribbing underneath and then go ahead and go. Now this piece right here, if we're going to put a board on top of it, we'll support that under any lift we want to do. It's spread out with enough square inches to disperse the weight that we won't crush it.
So the pressure that it would put on the aluminum skin of an aircraft maxes out at 7 psi. So that's all the pressure that will be pushing. Very slow.
Now again, make sure you're under sufficient to get a lift. We're only doing a tilt, so it's like an emergency evacuation user. Or to brace it if in fact it's falling or tipping into something. You just need to brace it, lift it, and stop it from going anymore. Again, lift, chalk it. Do not let the bag do the support.
So that's a good position right there.
Yeah. Just like I said, because of the pressure, the nature of the pressure, the danger isn't there. Most of the danger is still because you're lifting
15 or 20
immediately around the seat.
You did turn it on, right?
But on all of these, still go with the consideration that 60-degree safety zone.
You're closing it. You're closing it.
You're closing it.
That's on tape too, don't worry.
Never open it again. Make it a little bit easier to stand up.
Screw it down.
Wasn't that a safety hazard?
Not if you hold it.
Screw it down to pressure.
Now, to add air to it is this valve. To let the air out is this valve.
10, 20, 30, 40.
Jeff, can you do it?
This one looks like a darts.
Jeff,
It
you
is
want it?
exactly the same.
Lift it big.
Lift it back! And again, if you knew that there was the frame underneath there, you could put something to protect the metal edge on the. You can have that plastic off, so it actually exposes the weight so much that it's not to say we have arching code.
It's not gonna break the step rail, is it?
Did yesterday.
That's comforting.
You have 2 or 3 people standing on it.
There's the vehicle starting.
We got less weight per square inch.
It's raising the vehicle.
Almost off the ground.
It's almost. Bottle's not out of air, is it?
It's low.
Or it's out of air, maybe? Yeah, it's very low. We're out of air, Scott.
Pretty close.